All right, listeners, strap yourselves in because this deep dive is taking us straight into the heart of the NFL fan base. We're talking Reddit predictions for Week 5. And let me tell you, things get a little wild.
Wild is an understatement. We're talking bold predictions, scorching hot takes, and a whole lot of armchair analysis. You ready to dive into this jungle?
Ooh, I'm ready to get lost in the Reddit rabbit hole. But before we do, let's give everyone a lay of the land. What exactly does Week 5 have in store for us?
Well, get ready for a roller coaster because Week 5 is jam-packed. Divisional rivalries that'll have you on the edge of your seat, potential playoff previews, the whole shebang.
Yeah, starting us off strong on Thursday night, we've got the Texans taking a trip to Lambeau to face off against the Packers. Can C.J. Stroud handle the pressure cooker of primetime at Lambeau? And will Jordan Love clean up those interceptions from last week?
The cheeseheads are going to be fired up for that one, that's for sure. And then Sunday morning, we're shipping over to London for a little international flavor with the Patriots and the Jaguars.
Always love a good London game, but let's be real. Sunday night is where the real action is. Bills are hosting the Dolphins, and that AFC East showdown is going to be electric.
Talk about a must-watch. And to wrap up, Week 5, Monday Night Football is bringing us the Broncos versus the Buccaneers. Both teams with something to prove should be a nail-biter right down to the wire.
No doubt about it. Those primetime games are going to be absolute fire. But you know what they say? Don't sleep on the 1 p.m. games.
Absolutely not. This week is packed with them. Vikings and the Bears, well, that NFC North rivalry is always guaranteed fireworks.
Yeah, no love lost there. And speaking of intense rivalries, you can never rule out a good old-fashioned AFC North battle. The Bengals are hitting the road to take on the Browns, and that always have the potential for some serious chaos.
Oh, and don't forget about the Jets. They're squaring off against the Titans, and after that huge win last week, you know they're hungry for more.
So we've got the stage set, the snacks are ready, but before we hit play, we got to know, what's Reddit thinking about all this? What's got the hive mind buzzing?
Well, let's just say Reddit did not disappoint. We're talking some truly bold predictions, some real head scratchers, and a whole lot of passion.
All right, I am so ready for this. Let's crack open this treasure chest of Reddit predictions and see what's inside. All right, lay it on us, Reddit. What's the Week 5 forecast looking like? Any upsets on the horizon?
Oh, you know Reddit lives for an upset. But first, they seem pretty much in agreement with the Vikings being favored over the Jets this week.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins has been playing lights out this season, hasn't he?
He has.
11 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. That's tough to argue with.
Tough to argue with indeed.
But you're saying Reddit sees a chance for the Jets.
Let's just say there are some fans out there who still believe in the magic of Aaron Rodgers, think he might be due for a big game.
Ah, the classic comeback narrative. Always a fan favorite. Speaking of narratives, it seems like Reddit is expecting Justin Fields and the Bears to write a scary story for the Carolina Panthers this week.
Fields on fire! Panthers defense!
Yeah.
Non-existent. Yeah, those were some of the more colorful ways I saw it put.
Yikes. Sounds like Reddit saying, any quarterback facing that Bears defense better watch out.
I'd say so.
And Fields is coming off a monster game last week. 106.6 QBR.
You can't argue with those numbers.
Nope, not at all. Okay, this next one caught me off guard a bit. Reddit's favoring the Ravens to beat the Bengals on the road.
That would surprise me a little too, I have to admit.
I mean, the Ravens' defense is no joke, but still. Divisional games are always a toss-up.
You're telling me.
So what's Reddit's reasoning there?
They seem to be all in on that Baltimore D. And who knows, maybe they're onto something. The Bengals haven't exactly been firing on all cylinders so far this season. But you're right, when it comes to the AFC North, anything goes.
Absolutely.
Speaking of surprises, Reddit doesn't seem to be giving the Cardinals much of a chance against the 49ers this week. That point spread is, well, it's something.
Yeah, what's the deal there? What'd the Cardinals do?
Oh, Reddit has a long memory, my friend. Seems like they haven't forgotten how dominant the 49ers have been over the Cardinals recently.
How dominant are we talking?
3 straight wins for San Francisco by an average of 22 points.
Yeah, the Cardinals are probably still having nightmares about that.
Probably so.
But you mentioned upsets earlier, and we all know how much Reddit loves a good dose of chaos. What underdog stories are they cooking up this week?
Well, there's a surprising amount of support for the Giants potentially pulling off an upset against the Seahawks.
The Giants? Wow, that's a curveball I wasn't expecting. What makes them think that's possible?
They seem to be pretty high on the Giants' defense. Think if they can contain Geno Smith and force a turnover or two, they've got a real shot.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, how about the Browns and the Commanders? Any bold predictions coming from the Reddit analysts on that matchup?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of folks over there seem to think the Browns might just have the edge in this one. They point to the Browns' ability to pressure the quarterback as the key to victory.
Yeah, you get a quarterback rattled, mistakes happen. And the Browns definitely have the defense to capitalize on those mistakes.
For sure.
Okay, get this, though. Reddit's got one more upset prediction up their sleeve, and this one is a doozy. The Saints over the Chiefs. Are they being serious?
Whoa, did Reddit just predict the changing of the guard in Kansas City? That is a spicy one.
I know, right?
It sounds like some folks over there think the Chiefs are due for a reality check, and they're putting their faith in the Saints' defense to make it happen.
Huh. Well, if there's one thing we know about the NFL, it's that anything can happen.
That's what keeps us coming back, right?
You got that right. So we've got potential upsets, defensive battles, maybe even a changing of the guard in the AFC. But I get the feeling Reddit's insights go beyond just picking winners and losers.
You're absolutely right. Reddit was looking beyond the final score in a lot of these games. They were dissecting the storylines, the what-ifs, all the things that make this week so captivating.
All right, then, let's go deeper. What's the story behind the headlines? So we've got potential upsets, nail-biting finishes, maybe even a changing of the guard in Kansas City. But there's always more to the story, right? What's Reddit saying about the bigger picture this week?
Well, you remember that Thursday night game we talked about? The Texans heading up to Lambeau to face the Packers.
Oh yeah, how could I forget? Young C.J. Stroud going up against the history and the legacy of Lambeau Field. That's a tough first road trip for a rookie quarterback.
And Reddit really honed in on an interesting angle with this one. They see it as this clash of styles, almost like a philosophical battle between two different approaches to the game.
Okay, color me intrigued. What do they see?
So on one side, you've got the Texans, this young, scrappy team still figuring things out with a quarterback who's got all the potential in the world. It's all about growth, about the excitement of a developing offense.
And on the other side, you have the Packers.
The epitome of NFL tradition, playing at home in one of the most iconic stadiums in the league.
Talk about a study in contrast.
It really is. You've got the weight of expectations, that home field advantage, those established systems.
It's almost like a microcosm of the NFL itself, wouldn't you say? The new generation versus the old guard.
You hit the nail on the head. And speaking of generational battles, the Ravens and Bengals matchup sparked some really thought-provoking conversations on Reddit, too.
You know that AFC North rivalry always brings the heat?
Yeah.
What were they saying?
This one went beyond just a single game. Reddit sees this as a window into the entire AFC North landscape this season. It all boils down to one question. Can anyone dethrone the Bengals?
So it's not just about the Ravens getting a win. It's about whether they or anyone else in that division can challenge Cincinnati's dominance.
Exactly. And we can't forget about that Sunday night showdown, the Bills and the Dolphins. Reddit's practically salivating over the offensive fireworks we might see in that one.
Oh, no doubt those quarterbacks are going to put on a show. But what about the defenses? Did Reddit have anything to say about them?
And that's where things get really fascinating. There's this feeling on Reddit that these high-scoring shootouts, while undeniably entertaining, could be a sign of a bigger trend happening in the NFL.
You mean, are we heading toward an era of offense-only football, where defense is becoming an afterthought?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And Reddit doesn't have a definitive answer, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It really makes you wonder, is this the future of the NFL? Constant offensive explosions, record-breaking scores. I guess time will tell.
It will.
But for now, Reddit's given us a whole lot to think about. Clashes of styles, the future of the AFC North, the balance between offense and defense.
And it all comes back to the fans, doesn't it? Their passion, their insights, their predictions. It's what makes the NFL so captivating.
Well said. I know I'm going to be watching these games with a whole new perspective now.
Me too. It's like Reddit has given us a secret decoder ring for the NFL.
All right, listeners, there you have it. Another week, another deep dive into the wild world of NFL predictions. Big thanks to our expert for breaking down all those Reddit insights.
It's always a pleasure.
Now we want to hear from you. Are you riding with Reddit this week, or do you have a different feeling? Head over to our social media pages, let us know your predictions, and let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, happy watching.